Steel Day has been happening since many years now, and it is one of the platform which gives all consultants, the architects, and the builders, manufacturers to come on one platform and talk about the industry, the new developments, what is the future, what are we going to do. And this kind of event is very important because steel, as we know now, see, is one of the primary material used for construction. And over the years, it is growing at a very fast pace. So this type of events actually help us foresee how this can be used even further. And Epack has a big contribution towards it because Epack is one of the primary manufacturers in pre-engineered structures. We are doing, big scale projects across the country. We have been working with a lot of architects and consultants as well. So, we are one of the sponsors here as well. And we had our presentation. A lot of other architects and builders, they gave us presentations on the projects that we have executed. So for us, contributing towards the development of the country is very, very important. And Steel Day is one of the platform where we are showing it. Right? Sustainability is the buzzword right now. Carbon emissions and the saving the water, the conservation of electricity, and all those things are big, big things right now. And construction is one area where a lot of these operators are used. So, in terms of the design, if we talk the design engineers, so I'll talk in two parts. One is the design part, and then is the execution and the utility part over the years. So when the architect is then designing the building, they have to see in terms of the designing of the structure, the optimization of the structure, the material they are using and proposing for the structure should be available locally. Carbon emissions or the sustainability on green products should be used, first of all. Then the designing of the building should be such that the natural daylight is available in the building. Even the water conservation wise here, if you see recycling of water, wastewater and all those things has to be taken care of. Apart from that, and you can see in terms of the designing that the area where the sun rays can come through inside the building has to be closed off. Some areas where the heat penetrates so that the HVAC loads goes down. Then the insulation could be looked at. So design parameters, apart from the structural design, a lot of elements design are important, which needs to be seen to promote sustainability in the building. And I should say government should make it mandatory to get the green building rating in every building now, because ultimately, there are very few projects that are currently taking green building initiatives, but which is very, very important and it should be promoted highly by the government. So collaboration between all the stakeholders is very, very important. Architects, engineers, and even I'll add vendors. Vendors is one of the very core collaborator who contributes a lot. So any project that is perceived or envisaged, collaboration between all these are very important. So an architect designs a building which the engineer cannot design, then it goes out the door. Or an engineer create a fabrication drawing which fabrication erection is not possible. Then also it's a big challenge. So the architect should design a building which is executable, which is designable, and which should have a good design parameter. So all these, and apart from that, sometimes the designer designs the building with raw materials which are not available in the market as well. So there are a lot of challenges if the collaborations are not done. So for us, what we do is generally, whenever we perceive a project, we get all the stakeholders on board. We have a common discussion, common challenges, common output, make the project goes through successfully. And even the execution guys, the people who are executing on the ground will also be part of the designing, at least their inputs for one of the meetings, so that we envisage the project in a way that should be looking at the geographical locations, the challenges at the site, the challenges of material deliveries and fabrication. That's one area where we play a very important role and we focus it on from the start of the project. Environmentally friendly, like I said, sustainability is very critical. So majorly, steel and insulation are two components apart from the design of the building, which is, we should look at. We have been in discussion with a lot of manufacturers of steel like Tata to make steel more with high strength. And now we are also pushing them to make steel which is fireproof steel. So currently it's a very expensive and non-friendly job with wire coatings to make it fireproof. Now they are working on this technology where they'll provide steel which is fireproof as well. Apart from that, insulations, we are making 4 types of insulating materials and sandwich panels like polyurethane, glass wool, rock wool, ABS. So all those parameters are very, very important, and we make sure that all the elements that we use are aesthetically beautiful, and yes, they are cost-wise optimized, and they have a very good shelf life, including the sustainability part of the building. So majorly, if you see in the environmental conditions, so water, carbon emissions, and reusability of material. These are very important parameters that we need to look at. So steel, as we all know, is a recyclable material. So whatever structural material we are using, so if we are using, in a building 1,000 tons of steel, which currently will cost around 10 to 12 crores, will actually give you that value back when you sell off the building 50 years, 60 years back. So generally what we have seen is that if maybe 100 years, if we assume the life of the building is 100 years, after 100 years, when we scrap the building, we'll see the scrap value will be the same what we have invested in the building, because the price of steel as penetration is going high. So it actually gives you a lot of recovery at the end of the building usage as well. That is one way where the circular economy will work. You will generate a lot of revenue ultimately, by scrapping of the building. For RCC building, we have to actually pay to the contractors to take up the material and dismantle the building. Apart from that, water conservation wise, if you see construction at site, we do not need any water to erect a pre-engineered building at site. So are fabricated in the factory, sent to the site and nut bolted and erected very quickly. But on the other hand, if you see the civil construction, a lot of water is wasted at site apart from whatever is required to cure the building, to mix the cement with sand and make the concrete buildings. It's a big menace. Abuse of water, groundwater. A lot of sites we have seen, unauthorized bore wells being done just for construction. So ultimately, we are depleting the water resources by using those technologies. So green building, green material, less water consumption, better designing. All those are very important features of green buildings. Challenging terrains, steel is one of the best components to be used. So if you see again, if the terrain is very bad, it's very difficult to do the civil work, to take the cement bricks to a different terrain and then do the erection with the harsh environment, the harsh terrains. It's very, very tough. On the other hand, steel, if you see, 80 to 90% of the job is done in the factory. And then it is transported to the site and erected. So 10% of the job is done at site. That is one major benefit where, road have sent a lot of teams at site to do all the work. Secondly, if we see the steel buildings are much lighter in terms of compared to concrete building. The strength to weight ratio is much higher. So that gives a lot of benefit that the sizes of the footing and the foundation reduces. That gives a benefit in terms of the execution time of the uneven terrains or difficult terrains. So that gives a lot of saving on time as well as cost. So, and then design parameters, insulation point of view, if the terrain is difficult, then there might be harsh weather as well. There might be snowing there, but it might be a very dense condition. So that way is also pre-engineered buildings much more helpful compared to a RCC building. So a lot of people have myths, that steel cannot make good architecturally or it cannot be made in, look beautiful or something like that. But we have seen buildings which have come up beautiful. You see, one of the buildings after Tower, that's also in steel. That's one of the wonders. The highest, tallest building in the world, in Dubai, Burj Khalifa, the top part is steel. So architecturally, steel is so versatile, it's so touchable that it can be molded, add, cut, or designed in any shape that we want. So steel is one which the architects dream of. It's one of the products that they can design anything and can be executed. So that's one major benefit which currently I don't think is being used too much. But yes, you've seen slow growth and development of the design parameters of using steel. I think there is no other product that can give so versatile effect than steel can give. We are seeing good times in it, and in the next 10 years we'll see steel everywhere. Currently, we have seen steel being hidden inside the structures, but architecturally it's not being shown right now. But very soon we'll see as a facade, steel will game changers. And all the architects are working on it. We've seen it internationally everywhere around the world. It's being used extensively, and so it will be made in India. So although we have been working in different industries, we've been doing industrial projects, we have been institutional projects, we're doing commercial projects, we're doing government projects, and everywhere we have used steel as a major component of the building. A few projects that I would like to highlight. Part of the project is some mid-rise multiple-story building for Jatpat Hotel in Delhi, where we have created a G+6-story building with all steel structure, deck sheet, and then we used walls also with IPS steel frame and cement coated insulation. That again was done in 4.5 months, almost 60,000-70,000 square feet building with complete finishing. And looks beautiful. Then we have done 6 airports, under Udanski for Airport Authority of India, the Engineers Board, Citrikut Airport, Mirpur Airport, the Manda Airport. Now we are doing extension of the Manda Airport and doing Sasaba Airport. So all those buildings are steel building. So the columns and beams are steel, the roofing is steel, the wall, the cladding is steel, the partition is steel. So if you see all the components, we have replaced the cement and concrete and the bricks and steel. So that is one area where we are looking further was growth in terms of usage of steel. Few industrial projects that we have done a 13.5 lakh square feet largest factory building for world plus class manufacturing near Belgaum. That was again executed in 4.5 months. The big challenge around 7,000 tons of steel fabrication and supply and erection in 4.5 to 5 months. But it was meticulously planned and executed. We're doing cement Century Panels factory. We're doing JK Dyes factory. We're doing Polar factories. So a lot of industrial buildings and we're doing warehousing buildings. So I mean, if you see application-wise, apart from residential, I think we have not left even a single building that we have not executed. Starting from a card room to an airport, we've done any type of building, every type of way. Like I said, currently for us, industrial, institutional, and government projects are areas which we see a lot of usage of steel. Still believe that industry growth in India is picking up right now, and then this decade is for the industrial revolution. So we'll have a lot of demand for the industrial sheds in the industrial sector. Warehousing is one area where we have got the huge in progress. We are working with international companies, big MNCs, working lakhs of square feet, millions of square feet of industrial warehousing. That is one area. Then high-rise building, multi-story building is one which currently is picking up in India. It's still at a nascent stage. There are not many buildings being done in steel at high-rises compared to RCC. But I think it's time to think on those lines and go for multi-story building, high-rise building, and steel. Data centers, new projects, new products that are coming in different sectors will drive the growth. Even residential, I see currently we are not using residential buildings in steel, but that is one domain which will change the face of steel construction. So that's again time to come. We'll have a lot in both in residential as well. So we are collaborating with a lot of national companies looking at different technologies and have promoted how we can use steel as within operation. So we are currently in a regional building with steel framing building. We're doing sandwich panels. Apart from that, we're looking at other technologies like 3D printing and PTVC construction as well. In terms of pre-engineered building, currently we have 2 plants. One is in Greater Noida, another one is in Rajasthan, Hirot industrial area, where we have combined capacity of around 100,000 metric tons per annum. And we are putting up another factory in Mambatu near Tirupati, where we'll have 84,000 ton metric ton capacity. So total, after that plant, which will be operational in the next 4 months, we'll have 184,000 metric ton capacity, which will be one of the largest in the country. And we see the market ready for us. We have done projects all across the country and acceptability is there. We worked with all the architects in the country. So yes, this new factory is coming up in this year. And next year we plan another factory which will be in the west and another factory in the east. So in terms of the growth plans, we are set for the next 5 years and we see us being the largest in the country very soon. And we are on the track and we just keep doing good work and help the nation develop and achieve the vision that Narendra Modi ji has set for the country. So that we are happy to be part. Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.